So we are here with the third video of profit and loss, and in this video we will deal with the challenger questions to make our preparation one notch ahead of everyone others. So let's start. In this question we are given that two products are sold at 3300 each. The first one is sold at successive increase of X% and 2X%, and the other one after successive discounts of 4X% and 8X%. Initial there is an increase, and in the second there is a successive discount. So over here the price reduction is going on. So this is the first thing that you need to understand in this question, and all of these discounts are given on the mark price. I hope you remember the triangle which we discussed earlier of cost price, mark price and selling price. On mark price, this is the discount, this is a profit percentage. I hope the basis which we take or the concepts which we discussed earlier are clear to you now, so that we can apply them efficiently in this question. Moving on, we are provided with another information that if the ratio of the initial mark prices of the two products is 1:11 and X is an integer, what is X? Okay. Now let us suppose that now we are given that both of them are sold at 3300, but we are not provided that the cost price of both of them is equal. So let us assume that the mark price of the cheaper product is equal to Q, and the cost price, therefore the mark price of the costlier product is equal to 11Q, because we are given that the ratio is 1:11. Now moving on, we discuss the formula for successive increase. For successive increase, the formula is A plus B plus AB by 100 when the increase is A%, B% in any order. This is formula for the increment. Similarly, when there is a discount offered, we discussed this concept in the previous question, wherein there were successive discounts, and we use this formula A plus B minus AB by 100. Whenever there is a decrement of price or decrement of the quantity, the formula that is used for resultant decrease is this. For the resultant increase, the formula is this. Alright, now using these formulas, we'll proceed further. Now the net percentage increase on the cheaper product is X plus 2X. We are given that there is a successive increase of X% and 2X%. So we will substitute X and 2X in this formula for the successive increase. So X multiplied by 2X upon 100. So I am going to get my resultant as 3X plus 2X square upon 100. So this is the net percentage increase on the cheaper product, percentage increase on cheaper product. Now one thing that you need to understand is that the selling price of both the products is 3300. Now let me draw a graph over here so that you can have a better understanding. So this is 3300. Let us assume that this is our number line. Now there is a product whose mark price is Q. Now we know that Q11Q will be bigger than Q, so it will appear on the right hand side. Now we know that both of them have the same selling price. So to increase the value from Q to 3300, we will substitute the formula for the percentage increase. That's why we have taken the increase on the cheaper product, and the discount will reduce the price of 11Q to selling price, and the increment will increase the price from Q to 3300, and at the end both of them will have the same selling price. I hope that you are clear that why I have taken the percentage increase on the cheaper product. All right. Now the net percentage discount. Now this is the percentage increase. Percentage discount will be calculated by substituting the values in this formula, which is nothing but 4x plus 8x minus 4x multiplied by 8x, dividing this by 100. So I am going to get this as 12x minus 32x square upon 100. So this is my net discount, percentage discount. Now moving on, I hope you have written all of this. Now what I am given that the percentage increase on the cheaper product will be equal to 100 plus, this is my percentage increase, which was nothing but 3x plus 2x square upon 100 upon 100. This is nothing but the multiplication factor, and as there is an increase, there is a plus sign over here, multiplying this by cost price, which is Q in this case. This is equal to 3300. This is my equation number 1. Now similarly, the percentage discount on the product which is having 11Q as cost price, 100 minus 12x minus 32x square upon 100 upon 100 multiplied by 11Q is equal to 3300. This is my equation number 2. Now equating 1 and 2, we will arrive at this equation: 1100 minus 132x plus 352 minus x square upon 100 is equal to 100 plus 3x plus 2x square upon 100. And on solving this or simplification, 7x square minus 270x plus 2000 is equal to 0, or x is equal to 10, as we are provided that the integer x is an integer. So my x turns out to be 10. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Question number 2. In this question, we are provided with the information that Danchan made an aggregate profit of 6 by 15% on selling balls by exporting to China, England and India at 8, 12 and 18% profit respectively. The selling of balls to China and England got him a profit of 74 by 9%. How many balls exported to India if the total number of balls that were exported were 600? Okay, so we are provided with 3 countries, China, England and India. The profit percentage respectively for China is 8%, for England it is 12%, for India it is 18%. And if I calculate together for China and England, my profit percentage is provided to me as 74 by 9%. And if I calculate the profit overall, then it is provided to me as 22.6 by 15. And I also know the quantity or the number of balls which are exported altogether is nothing but 600. So this is the given information from the question. Now let us utilize each information one by one. Now initially I am assuming that let X is the number of balls which are exported to China and Y be the number of balls which are exported to England. So I am left with 600 minus X minus Y. This is the number of balls which are exported to India. This comes from the fact that X plus Y plus whatever this might be is equal to 600, and I am left with 600 minus X minus Y as the quantity that is exported to India. Now we are also provided that whenever the balls are being exported to China and England together, the net profit which is occurring in this transaction is 74 by 9 percentage. All right. Writing this in terms of equation, what I am going to get is, let me write so that it is clear for you. Balls being exported to C and E, profit percentage is going to be 74 by 9 percentage. So this is equal to 0.08x plus 0.12y upon x plus y, because this is the net quantity, and in this transaction the net profit that is generated is 74 by 9 percentage, that is 74 by 900. So on simplification, this equation becomes 72x plus 108y, which is equal to 74x plus 74y, or this can be written as x is equal to 17y. Now we also know that the net profit is equal to 22.6 by 15%. Now writing this in terms of equation, what I am going to get is, there is an 8% profit while selling it to China, plus there is a 12% profit while selling or exporting it to England, and there is a profit of 18% while exporting this to India. And the net quantity that is being exported is nothing but 600, and in this transaction 22.6 by 15 is nothing but 226 upon 15 multiplied by 1 by 100, because that was in terms of percentage. This 00, this 00 gets cancelled over here, and what I am left with is 0.08x plus 0.12y plus 108 minus 0.18x minus 0.18y. This is equal to 90.4. You might simplify this equation with your own method, not a problem, but you should arrive at the same solution. That's all that matters. 0.1x, so on simplification, 0.1x plus 0.06y is equal to 17.6. We will use this relation which we established earlier and substitute x equals to 17y. What I am going to get is 1.76y is equal to 17.6, or y is equal to 10, and my x is equal to 170. Now what I have to calculate in this question is the number of balls that were exported to India, which is 600 minus x minus y. So substituting the values of x and y, 600 minus 170 minus 10. So this is equal to 420 balls were exported to India. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Writing the given information properly and in a structured way does half the damage to the question. If you are not able to extract the information properly, you should have a clear way of thinking how I am going to proceed to this question. Only then start with the questions. Do not start the question and in the midway start thinking that how I need to proceed. This is going to waste your time, because if you think beforehand, it is going to save you a lot of time and you will proceed to the question or the solution much more confidently. And the confidence is the key, because without confidence the chances of making the silly errors or the calculation errors increases. Question number 3. Vinay and Gurpreet purchased one camera each at same prices. So we are given that the cost price for Vinay and Gurpreet is same. Let us suppose that their cost price is X. Later, Amarjit purchased both the cameras at equal prices from Vinay and Gurpreet. Okay, so we are given that the selling price for Vinay and Gurpreet is again the same. Let us assume that it is Y. But the profit percentage of Vinay was P. So for Vinay, the profit percentage was P, and for Gurpreet, the profit percentage was Q. These are nothing but my profit percentages. Okay, now we are given that, but the percentage of Vinay was P. Okay, and since the Gurpreet calculated his profit on the selling price, so Gurpreet has made a mistake and he has calculated his profit percentage on selling price, while Vinay was calculating it correctly and he has calculated his profit percentage on the cost price. Okay, now we are given the relation between Q and P. Now let us analyze this question till now. Now we know that the profit percentage of Vinay is P% and he has calculated it correctly with keeping the base as the cost price. So for Vinay, now this calculation is for Vinay. The profit percentage which is given to us is P. So P percentage is nothing but, let me write the formula, selling price minus the cost price upon the cost price, multiplying this by 100. Substituting the values, what I am going to get, the profit percentage which is given to us for Vinay is P. This is equal to, my selling price is Y, my cost price is X, dividing this by X and multiplying this equation by 100. This is my equation number 1. Now the calculation for Gurpreet. He has calculated the profit on the selling price, substituting the values, writing it over here only. His profit percentage is Q, selling price minus the cost price, and he has calculated it on the selling price. So this is equal to Y minus X upon Y, because he has calculated it on the selling price, multiplying this by 100. This is my equation number 2. Now I am given that Q is equal to 41/2 percentage of P, that is nothing but 125/3% of P, which is equal to, if I substitute equation number 1 or put the value of Q and P from equation number 1 and 2, what I am going to get is Q is Y minus X upon Y, multiplying this by 100, is equal to 125/3 percentage, that is 1/100 of P. My P is nothing but Y minus X upon X into 100. So after doing the calculations, Y minus X gets cancelled using the table of 25. What I am left with is, the X goes over here, 12X is equal to 5Y. So this is the relation which we get from the initial piece of information that we have read till now. So this is clear to all of you. 12X equals to 5Y. This is the relation which we have got till now. Let me write it over here. 12X equal to 5Y, where X is the cost price and Y is the selling price. This is the information for Vineet as well as Gurpreet. Okay, now if Amarjit sells one of the cameras to Dhruv at P%, okay, profit, what is the cost price for Dhruv? Now I have to calculate the cost price for Dhruv, that is equal to CP of Dhruv is nothing but the selling price of Amarjit. This is clear. The selling price at which the Amarjit is selling to Dhruv is the cost price for Dhruv. Okay. And now we are given that Amarjit purchased each camera for 240 each. So the cost price for Amarjit is equal to 240. So the writing the profit percentage, we are given that it is equal to P, the profit percentage. P is equal to the cost price, the selling price of, let the selling price of Dhruv be Z, minus the cost price for Amarjit is 240 upon 240, multiplying this by 100, and we have the equation for P percentage which we calculated earlier. It was nothing but Y minus X upon X multiplied by 100. Substituting this over here y minus x upon x is equal to z minus 240 upon 240 multiplied by 100. Even this term is multiplied by 100. This 100 gets cancelled with this 100, and substituting the value of 12x equal to 5y in this equation, y minus what my x is, 5 by 12x upon 5 by 12 y, sorry, this is y, is equal to z minus 240 upon 240. So what I am left with is 7 by 12y upon 5 by 12y is equal to z minus 240 upon 240. This y and y gets cancelled. That is 240 multiplied by 7 is equal to 5z minus 240 multiplied by 5. So this 240 comes over here, so this is nothing but 240 multiplied by 9 upon 5. So this 5 gets cancelled. This is 48 into 9. This is equal to z, and my z is equal to 576. So pretty straightforward question if you extract the question information correctly. I hope this is clear to all of you. This is the calculation part. I will explain this question once again. What has happened actually? Vinay and Gurpreet bought. This is CPV. This is CP for Gurpreet. He sold at P percentage. He sold at Q percent. Now we are given that both of them purchased at an equal price. So the cost price for both of them is equal. Both of them sold to Amarjit, but the selling price, this is SPV and this is SPG, even both of them is equal, but P is not equal to Q because P is calculated with base cost price and Q is calculated with base of selling price. So this is the main concept that is involved. Rest is only the calculation. I hope this question is clear to all of you. So question number 4, this is a typical question which takes a lot lesser time if you go by the options, but if you solve this question traditionally, there is a chance of calculation error because in this type of questions we have to deal the calculation in terms of fractions and it gets a bit tedious under the time clock pressure. So let us analyze this question initially by the traditional approach so that we can have a feel that how this question is getting solved in term if you are not able to recall the shortcut or use the options efficiently, or if this question appears as an theta question. So let us solve this question with the equations. We are given that Arnav on his deathbed keeps half of his property for his wife and divides the rest equally among his 3 sons Bikram, Chandan and Dev. So I am assigning B for Bikram, C for Chandan and D for Dev and A for Arnav. Okay. Now Bikram dies leaving. Now let us analyze each statement initially. Let us assume that the total property of Arnav is equal to X. This is the total property. Okay. Now we are given that he divides half of his property to the wife. So A's wife gets X by 2, while let me make a table, it will be more easier. A's wife, B's wife, C's wife, Dev, till now. Okay, now we are given that when A dies, half of the property goes to A's wife, that is x by 2 is given to this, half and the half remaining x by 2 is divided equally amongst 3 sons. So each of them is going to get x by 2 multiplied by 1/3, that is x by 6. So B is going to get x by 6, B's wife is going to get a 0. C is going to get x by 6, C's wife is going to get a 0. And Dev is going to get x by 6. Now Bikram dies, leaving half of his property to the widow. Okay, so Bikram had x by 12, so he left half of his property to his wife. So she is going to receive half of the property that Bikram possessed, that is x by 12 is given to B's wife. This is the scenario when Bikram dies. Now A's wife has nothing to do with it, so her property remains constant, and x by 12 is shared equally among Chandan and Dev. Okay, now Bikram's property becomes 0 as he dies and he distributes his entire property. Now C is going to get x by 6 plus x by 24. C's wife is going to get a 0, and similarly Dev is going to get x by 6 plus x by 24. I hope this is clear to everyone till now. So this calculation turns out to be 5x by 24, and this too is equal to 5x by 24. Moving on, we are given that Chandan makes his will and he keeps half of his property for his widow and the rest he bequeaths to his younger brother Dev. Okay, now Chandan's property is split equally amongst Chandan's wife and Dev. Now C's will. This is the scenario number 3. Now nothing changes over here. This is 0. B's wife has x by 12. Now C 0. C's wife has half of it, 5x by 48, and Dev has 5x by 24 which he had initially plus 5x by 48 which Chandan gave him. So this calculation turns out to be 15x by 48. Now moving on, when Dev dies some years later, he keeps half of his property for his widow and the remaining for his mother. Now we are given the equation for mother, so we do not have to bother how much the amount of money Dev's wife has possessed. We only have to bother about the mother, that is A's wife. Alright. Now when D dies, we are given that he gives half of the property, half of this 15x by 96 to A's wife, and half of it goes to D's wife. So this calculation is x by 2 plus 15x by 96 is equal to 1,575,000. Okay, so this is nothing but 63x 196 is equal to 1,575,000, and x is equal to 24 lakhs. So now you can see that how tedious the calculations can be, because you have to calculate and go chronologically, use the fractions, and at the end also you need to equate this thing to a bigger number. So the chances of making a silly error in this type of questions is very high. So what I suggest is that if you are provided with the options, make the most of them. Now let us proceed to this question with the options. Now one tip that I gave earlier while choosing the options is that never go with the extreme options first. Always take an option which is the average of all of them, because, which I said earlier also, while using the extreme options, you can't eliminate the other ones. But if I take the average of the options, if my calculation is bit on the higher side, I will move to my left, and in this way the options which are to the right of my option get eliminated, and vice versa. So I will not try for the extreme options, that is the highest 30 lakh or the lowest 8 lakh, and between 18 and 14 you have to choose one of them by hit and trial. So I'm going to go with the 24 lakh option. Now moving with 24 lakh, so I'm assuming that this is the net worth. So after earner dies, he's going to give 12 lakh to his wife, and the remaining 12 lakh are going to get equally split amongst A, B and C. So each of them is going to get 4 lakhs. Now Bikram dies and he leaves half of his property to the wife, and the remaining 2 lakh, that is half of it, are split equally. So sorry, this is not A, B, C, this is B, C and D. Now B dies, so the 2 lakh are going to go to B's wife, and remaining 2 are going to get equally split. So Chandan and Dev are going to get 1 lakh extra. Now as we proceed further, Chandan makes his will and he keeps half of his property, that is 2.5 goes to his wife, and half of this goes to his younger brother. So this is 7.5 over here, 5 plus 2.5. Okay, now we are given that when Dev dies, he keeps half of his property for his widow and half of this to the mother. So half of this is nothing but 3.75 lakhs to mother and 3.75 lakh to the D's wife. So the net property, this was given to A's wife, or B, C and D's mother. Both of them are the same. So 12 lakh plus 3.75 lakh is nothing but 15.75 lakh, which is provided to us in the question. So option D is correct. Now if in this case 24 wouldn't have been the answer, and I would have got something, the income of A or A's net worth, which we are having here, or the mother's worth, after the calculation would have been greater. So I would have confirmed that my option is something that is below 24, and I would have eliminated 2 options in one calculation, that is 24 as well as 30 lakh. If I would have chosen 18 lakh in this scenario, I would have got A's net worth below, lesser than 15.75 lakh, and I would have confirmed that my option is something above 18 lakh. So 8 lakh is automatically eliminated and I am left with 30 and 24. And after looking at the options, the difference between 15.75 lakh and the amount or the value which I would have got in case I would have selected 18 lakh as the net income, I would be a little more prompted to use 24 lakh as my second hit and trial rather than using the extreme option, that is 30 lakh. I hope choosing the option is also an art which you need to learn to save the time, and in the MCQ questions make the use of the options to your fullest to save the time as well as to improve your accuracy.